Greetings everyone, I'm coming at you from Hubbard, this is Medina County Park, from Hubbard Valley Park. Compared to us here at Highland, it's pretty far south. It's in Seville, but it's one of the Medina County parks that's still open during the COVID crisis. They closed some parks just to be able to match the job that has to be done to maintain and clean, match that with the size of their current staff. So some parks are open. This is one of them. This is gorgeous, and I'm also here early in the morning because there's a beautiful sunrise. The other day, I repeated one of my park locations, and when I came home, I thought, repeats. That's a good topic to do repeats. So I'm going to talk to you about the 4 kinds of repeats. I'm actually going to stand still for a moment now, though, because my wife says my walking makes her dizzy, and she hasn't even seen these videos. Okay. I'm going to describe these 4 kinds of repeats, and I'm going to make an analogy to what it's like to be in a class lecture. First kind of repeat, that's where you do the entire song, and then you go back and you do just a beginning chunk. That's called DC al fine. That's like being in a lecture. You wait till the entire lecture is over, then you ask a question. You say, hey, you mentioned 10 things. Could you go back and say the first thing again? The teacher says the first thing again, bell rings, class is over. That's the whole song, then go back to the beginning and just do a little part. That's called DC al fine, which stands for da capo al fine, which means from the capo, which is the head, the top, the beginning, al fine, which means to the finish. There's actually the word F-I-N-E in the music, fine. You go back to the beginning and then wait till you see the word fine, and then you stop. That's DC al fine. The next kind of repeat is called DS al fine. That's where you do the whole song, and then you go back to some spot in the middle of the song and just do a little middle chunk again. That's like being in a lecture. The teacher gives the entire lecture. You raise your hand and you say, hey, you mentioned 10 points. Could you go over point 3 and 4? The teacher does it. Bell rings. Class is over. That is DS al fine. Do the whole thing. Go back to the S, which is signo, del signo, which means sign. Al fine, to the finish line, the fine, F-I-N-E. DS al fine, del signo al fine, from the sign to the finish. Do the whole song, go back to a middle spot of the song, do a little bit, and then stop at the fine. Bad news, bases. If you're really short, got to throw you back into the lake. The third type of repeat is DS al Coda. That's where you do the whole song, go back and do a little middle chunk of it, and then do a completely unique ending. So that's like being in a lecture class. The teacher finishes the lecture. Then you say, hey, you mentioned 10 things. Can you go back and go over 3 and 4? The teacher goes over 3 and 4. The bell doesn't ring, and the teacher does a closing. Therefore, students, blah, 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 blah. Bell rings. That's DS al Coda. Do the whole song, go back to the S, the signo, but then do a coda, a special ending. In Italian, that coda means tail. Go and do the tail. That's DS al Coda. Fourth kind of repeat is where you don't do the whole song first. You do some of the song and then you repeat something. There are 2 versions of this. The first one is the repeat sign. Thick line, thin line, 2 dots. That's a repeat sign. And you can surround music with 2 repeat signs just as if they were parentheses. And you just do again whatever was inside the parentheses. So that's like a teacher's giving a lecture, and then you say, whoa, you stop them in the middle of the lecture and say, could you say that one more time? You repeat that thing, and then you go on with the rest of the lecture. That's repeat sign. And the last one is first ending and second ending. You'll see a bracket in the music with a number 1. That means do this ending first, and then you'll see a bracket with a number 2. Do this ending next. That's like being in a lecture. The teacher's talking. You stop mid-lecture. The lecture's not over, and you say, hey, could you repeat that? The teacher repeats it, but at the very end of what they repeat, they say something different. They word it a little bit differently, and then you move on. You know, the second time you do it, it's a little bit different. So that's first ending and second ending. So remember, DC al fine. The second one, DS al fine. The third one, DS al Coda. The fourth one, the repeat sign. Thick line, thin line, 2 dots. And the last one, first ending and second ending. Well, those are all different ways that repeats are shown in music. Right now, we're in the middle of the COVID-19 crisis. I bet there's a lot of things about this you guys wouldn't want to repeat. But I just hope that you can know that no matter what happens, there's always going to be a sunrise. And there's always something to look forward to the next day. You wonder what's going to happen next. Hope all is well with you, and hope you have things to look forward to with every new day. Take care till next time.